This is the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. And boom. And welcome everybody to this episode of Coming Home with John Allen. I am your host, John Allen. Welcome to episode number 200. 200 episodes. I'm hanging in there, and I thank you all for hanging in there with me as well. Before we get started with this episode, I want to talk about, or I want to pose a question. How do we mentor our sons? Okay? I'm talking about mentoring of our sons. But before we get into it, I want to give you a little bit of information. Remember that you can go to my website at johnallenpod.com. And that's where you can find information on a lot of the work that I do, but specifically, I would like for you to check out my ebook. If you want to hear me read to you, there it is. I have a story out there. Let me read it to you. It's my ebook, and you find that at johnallenpod.com. Read all that information. There's a $5 a month fee or membership, if you will, if you want to listen to me read that ebook. All the information is there. It's easy. Costs $5. That's not a lot of money for most of us. Jump in there. Check it out. So, as I said, I want to talk about mentoring of our sons. And I want to share, now there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I want to share with you one specific way that I mentor my son. As I have experienced for over 40 years now, physical training, and specifically strength training, is an excellent path for me to improved physical, emotional, and mental health. The process of strength training, lifting weights, bodybuilding, and powerlifting for me has brought me a few things. It's brought me self-discipline, humility, oh boy, and inspiration to erase my limitations. And it's brought me an awareness of how important it is to set realistic goals. Okay, I've gotten all of that through years and years and years of strength training, physical training in general, but specifically strength training. So, of course, all of that time in the gym and all of the accomplishments that I've achieved while competing in bodybuilding and powerlifting, all of that has given me an above average physical strength. But more importantly, and it's cool to be strong, but more importantly, much more importantly, I have incorporated these physical accomplishments and the lessons that I've learned in the course of those physical accomplishments. I've turned that into mental and emotional strengthening that I readily and often apply to my day-to-day life. It's a beautiful thing. Applying those lessons learned while lifting weights, in this case, for me, powerlifting and competing in powerlifting and bodybuilding, and incorporating those lessons learned into my daily life. So that process, I can tell you, has made me a better father, a better husband, a better artist, a better musician, and a better friend to those around me. And I want a similar opportunity for my son as well, okay? I want my son to experience that as well. It'll only do him good. He's ready. He's ready for that. And so we have been training together now for the last two and a half weeks, my son and I, out there in my home gym, powerlifting. I've been teaching him the ropes, hopefully handing him some new skills and putting a few things in flow here. And when we talk about flow, for my son, the lessons flow, just like his sweat flows off of his little face while we're training. I'm facilitating the presentation of lessons about life for him, goals, limits, fortitude, expectations, humility, and all of those things that I mentioned before and much more. In other words, training, and I've said this before, for me anyway, training is not just a physical thing. There's a mental, emotional, even a spiritual thing. If you believe that your body is God's vessel, There you can incorporate that spiritual aspect. You can incorporate that spiritual aspect in many other ways. But all of those different aspects of training build upon that physical thing. The physical thing is here, but on top of that are all those other aspects, those learning points, and I'm sharing that with my son. He's 15 years old, by the way. I referred to his little face. His face isn't so little. He's actually taller than me. But he's 15 years old, and he's learning these lessons. I'm the facilitator of that. The medium is the training atmosphere, my home gym. So everything is set up for him to learn. It's set up for him to sweat and get strong and challenge himself physically. But the door is open for other lessons to be taught. We laugh a lot. We bond. He asks questions, and I answer the questions. I push him, and I see the changes in him already after just a couple of weeks. And I feel the change upon me as well. Training with him has put me in a new state of mind and body as well. He's looking up to me. He's literally looking at me while we train. So I have to perform. So I'm on my game even more than usual, especially the way things have been for me with injuries and whatnot, the past year or two. So I'm benefiting from this time with my son. And again, as we train, as we sweat, I'm talking with him. I'm sharing lessons. There's things about resolve, about being resolute, about being focused, overcoming what you thought were your previous boundaries. There's a couple of times while we're training, you'll say, Papa, it's too heavy. I'll throw that question out there. Is it? I bet you can do one more rep. I bet you can do two more. And he does one more rep, or he does two more reps. Or if he doesn't manage to push through, there's a lesson there. There's a lesson about limitations and humility. Question for fathers and mothers. How do you mentor your sons? I'm talking about one way in which I mentor mine. This is only one way, and I strongly suggest it. It's an avenue to mentoring. You will strengthen your father and son bond while you strengthen your body as well. You will strengthen your mind while you strengthen your body. Let me know what you think. This is a short episode. I'm just sharing a thought here. There's a narrative out there, which I experienced on social media here a few days ago, where a lot of women are claiming that men do not do enough to mentor their sons. Are they right? That's a discussion to be had, and we're going to have that discussion. And it's going to be a part of this masculinity series. When it comes to the masculinity series, look on the description of this episode. You will see a link that leads you to the other videos in the masculinity series that I'm doing. As I said, this is video number 4 in the masculinity series, video number 200 overall. I say video because this is going to go up on YouTube, but it's also going to be on all podcast platforms. I'll learn how to talk here one of these days. It's been a long day. Podcast episode number 200, YouTube video number 200 as well. Number 4 in the masculinity series. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me know what you think. Remember, go to johnallenpod.com. You can see all of the work that I'm doing. You can also hit me up on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. I am at John Allen Official. That's JOHNALAN Official. On Facebook, I am John Allen Official. Check me out. Let's engage. Let's talk about this. How do you mentor your son or sons? Okay? Take care. Everybody go out there, love and be loved, and enjoy the process. Thank you. Bye.